Hi everyone, it's Raisa, Shafira, Affandi. This time we're asking who speaks and who listens. We'll uncover the voices of poems and the audience they speak to. Let's begin. Our learning objectives for this module are 1. To understand the concepts of a poem's speaker and addressee, and 2. To gain awareness of how who the speaker and addressee are may affect interpretations of the poem. So first, who speaks? In prose, the person telling the story is called a narrator. In poetry, they are called the speaker. The speaker is the voice that narrates or conveys the perspective, thoughts, and emotions of the poem. It's the persona that the poet uses to deliver the poem. It can be the poet themselves, or it can be a character, animal, object, or even an abstract concept. Who listens? Meanwhile, the addressee is the implied or direct audience the speaker is speaking to. It can be explicit, like a specific person mentioned by name, or it can be implied, like a poem that is a letter to an ex-lover without mentioning their name or status. When poems are performed out loud, the audience also becomes addressees. It can also be unclear who the addressee is. So some things to think about when we think about a poem's addressee is it targeted to specific people or entities, or does it seem like something for anyone to read? Does it sound like it really wants to be heard like an announcement, or does it feel like a sneak peek into someone's private diary? Are you the main audience, or are you peeking into someone else's conversation? Let's look at some examples. In this poem, titled Mother to Son by Langston Hughes, well, son, I'll tell you. Life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it and splinters and boards torn up and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. So in this poem, it's a bit more obvious who the speaker is and who the targeted listener is. The speaker is a mother, and the listener is her son, as well as all of us reading the poem. How does it feel to you that we are listening in on this seemingly personal conversation between mother and son? Do you perhaps imagine your own mother or your own son and daughter? Another example. In this poem on intimacy, it's a little less clear what the identity of the speaker is. When we meet at the holiday table, we take turns and great pains not to remind each other of our mutual and reciprocal disappointments. Mom looks around for the grandchildren I would not bear. Her glances ricochet off the high-gloss white lacquer on the tabletop. I tell my mother she is a granddaughter and my cat. At this, my mother never laughs. So we don't really know who the identity of the speaker is. We just know she's at a holiday table, she has a mom and a cat. She's also a woman because she has been criticized for not bearing children, and she doesn't have grandchildren. Meanwhile, for the listener, it's also less clear who the speaker is speaking to. It can't be her mother because her mother is talked about in third person, not addressed as you, like in the poem before. So, is she simply musing her thoughts for anyone to hear? Is this like something she would write in her diary? But then, at the end, she says, "Dear reader." So now we, the readers, are no longer passive observers in this situation, but seemingly asked to participate. It's as if she wants to be read, but by who? And how does that affect how the poem makes you feel? Now, let's review what we've learned. A poem speaker is the voice that narrates or conveys the perspective of the poem. It can be the poet themselves, or it can be a character, animal, object, or abstract concept. Meanwhile, a poem's addressee is the audience or listener that the speaker is speaking to. It can be both explicit or implied, and both clear or unclear. Well done! Understanding speaker and audience will make your reading experience even richer. See you in the next session!